Hey, I'm gonna do a quick video on the Resto Shaman scenario, the solo one, because I've done it at a really low high level and some shamans have been asking for help. I was streaming my attempt when I managed after 105 attempts, but I'm really low high level, so yeah. In terms of gear, I'm 889. I have a cake trinket that would make me better eye level, but I didn't use it because cake doesn't work, so don't bother with cake. I have the 4 set bonus, which is really helpful for totems. Oh, I don't have any legendaries except Zephus yet. And if I had like the head for a long heroism, that would be like a massive upgrade. My weapon isn't even high level in terms of artifact power. Don't even have the last trade yet, which would have been amazing. And in terms of talents, I used Undulation for spams, Lightning Surge because you need stuns, Crashing Waves because it's much better to be able to spam 2 Healing Surges after just 1 Riptide. And these are whatever, and Ancestral Ascendance because you just need the healing output. I also used a lot of potions. I used Mastery Food, Prolonged, Lay Torrent, Ancient Mana Potion, Flask, Rune, and I did use drums alongside with heroism, and yeah, you'll understand why in the last phase of the video. Okay, that's it, on to the video. This first phase will be the hardest one, and it includes 5 waves. There are 3 types of ads: archers, which will cast an arrow where you have to line of sight behind the tank, mages that you will need to interrupt as their damage scales with more casts, and rogues, warriors, whatever you call them, that will do both an AoE and fixate someone for high single target damage. To make the first wave slightly easier, you should use a prolonged power just before you enter combat. The first wave is just 1 archer, so try to conserve your mana. It's not really worth to use healing surges and etc. You can easily heal it with Riptide, Healing Stream, and just Healing Wave. Position yourself behind the tank, do enough DPS that the archer doesn't cast a second arrow, and you should be okay to go into the next one. The next wave will have a mage and an archer together, and you want to interrupt the second cast of the mage, which I clearly didn't, but I managed to live through the damage, so it's okay. And be ready to stun the archer when he moves to cast his arrow. By now your interrupt should be coming out of cooldown, and you need to use it again to interrupt the mage and prevent him from getting damage buffs, and make use of it every time it's out of cooldown until the mage dies, while positioning yourself once more behind the tank to avoid the archer's arrow. I forgot to say earlier, but if you take the arrow, it will drain your mana so you can never get hit by it. After the mage is dead, all there's left to do is to kill the archer. Continue positioning yourself behind the tank, and by all means do not use your lightning surge stun, as you'll need it for the next wave. This archer's damage will be a little bit heavy if you are on lower eye level as I am, since you won't have prolonged potion up anymore, but try your best not to use much mana and focus on healing with Healing Wave, Riptide and Healing Stream. Even though I couldn't right here, it's important to try and kill the archer before he casts the last arrow to avoid wave transition with the dot on the tank. The next wave brings a mage and a warrior. After 105 tries, I found the best way to start this wave is to interrupt the mage's second cast and just heal until the warrior starts casting, not channeling, his knife dance, and drop Lightning Surge Totem on top of both adds. Instantly drop Earthbind Totem afterwards to slow him, as he will fixate and run to you for heavy-ish damage. Before the stun finishes, try to get a Flame Shock and a few Lava Bursts on the mage. Just after the warrior starts chasing you, the mage should be on 2 stacks of his damage, and you need to interrupt him again if you are going to kite the warrior. Start running or Gust of Wind away, and soon after the mage should be dead. Around that time, the warrior will start his knife dance once more, and you can't use any cooldowns to heal through it, since you will really need them for the next wave. Do your best to heal the group, which shouldn't be too hard, with Healing Stream, Riptide, Gift of the Queen and Healing Waves. Be ready to heal yourself when it charges you, and don't be afraid to use a Healing Surge or 2, but don't use Astral Shift, you'll need it really soon. The fourth wave brings a mage and 2 warriors. It's imperative that you have your Lightning Surge totem out of cooldown so you can use it in their double dance. The perfect timing for this wave is to interrupt the mage as soon as the wave starts and move close to the door to give you kiting space. Once the two warriors start casting, not channeling, the knife dance, which it should be almost immediately as the wave starts, stun the 3 adds and earthbind once more. Stay in close range so that the warriors will fixate you and not someone else, and get ready to kite. Also, interrupt the mage as soon as he starts casting after the stun, because after kiting you might not be in range for wind shear. Next comes the first damage heavy part of this whole phase, especially at low eye levels, since you'll have to deal with a double knife dance. Preemptively put down 2 healing stream totems, cast your Gift of the Queen and Healing Tide, position yourself close to 3 of your group members, preferably Granny as she has the lowest health pool, and use your Spirit Link. Be ready for both warriors to fixate on you right after they cast, and use Astral Shift and spam Healing Surge on yourself through it. You'll finally be allowed to relax a little as the warriors will start their knife dance, but your Lightning Surge will have come out of cooldown just in perfect timing to be used again, along with your Earthbind totem. As soon as you stun them, run away and use a late Torrid Potion if you need, and even if you don't, better safe than sorry. One warrior will certainly die during the stun, and the other won't reach you fast enough to do any decent damage, but you need to get ready for his next knife dance. Put a healing rain down, healing stream totems, and don't use any other cooldown. I found that I actually need to delay his death just a few seconds so that Lightning Surge totem comes out of cooldown just perfectly timed for the next and final wave, so I kite this ad just a little bit longer so that I cannot melee them. For the final wave, start by interrupting the mage and moving into melee range. When the warrior starts his dance, put Lightning Surge down on all 3 adds. Pop your magic hero and Ascendance combo near the end of the stun, interrupt the mage again as soon as he starts casting, and retardedly spam Healing Surge. Amidst all that's going on, don't forget to position yourself between the tank and the archer when he's casting the arrow, since you can't afford to go out of mana now. As soon as your wind shear is out of cooldown, interrupt the mage for the last time and he should die. The warrior will now knife dance you once more, but you will still have hero to deal with it, so it's all good. As you can see here, I positioned myself between the tank and the archer, but Callie the rogue was in the middle. Now, I could have moved further to the left and it would probably hit Jared instead, but as I had hero, I decided not to risk anything and just healed through it. Since the warrior will die soon after his dance, it'll now be just like phase 1 and you only have to deal with one archer, which should make it pretty trivial. The biggest problem, as you can see right now, was always mana because of my ridiculously low eye level, lack of legendaries and traits in my weapon. I would always reach the 4th wave and go terribly low, enough that I wouldn't be able to deal with wave 5. I did each phase dozens of times to learn when abilities were being used and when to time my own cooldowns to them. Eventually I realized there's little to no RNG as all mechanics in every wave are static and timed, with the under arrow being the only exception, although even that would vary between 5 to 10 seconds apart. After mastering all the timers and how to react to them, I was always using the plan from this video and it nearly always worked. The reason why I wiped so many times is because eventually you get tired and you make mistakes, so out of experience I'd advise you to do some 5 decent tries, just go relax for a bit and then come back for more. This whole second phase, which I'll refer to the stairs phase, is ridiculously easy. In the first room, all you have to do is stay away from these adds, as they'll do some high close range damage, and kill them one by one. Each of them will take you super low on health, so you must heal yourself before killing the next one. The easiest combo of spells here is to use a Flame Shock into a Lava Burst and one Lightning Bolt. This way, you save another Lava Burst for the next add, and so on and so on. You can also use your Stun Totem and your Earthbind Totem as long as it's in the beginning of the fight so that you'll have it for the next one. Once they're all dead, just pull the mini-boss with Chain Lightning and a Lightning Surge Totem. Keep healing yourself while doing damage, but it's fairly easy and trivial. Use your Slow and Kite if you need to do damage instead of healing, and just move on. You will need to hit these Velorbs, or otherwise once you get close they'll do a lot of damage on you. One Chain Lightning is enough to hit both and you can just walk through them. Next you'll have to deal with some damaged souls and an archer from phase 1. As soon as you enter the room, dispel the feared soul, as if it touches you it will fear you for 5 seconds and you might even run into Velorbs. Drop Healing Tide and a Gift of the Queen down and Riptide into Healing Surge until they're all healed. be absolutely sure they are 100% healed by not having the red mark on their head. If they go to 0, they will turn and attack you and you won't meet the timer. Once you've healed all the souls, take some seconds to get mana, there's no rush here. Dealing with the archer is easy if you use Hero, and you can always wait again before the last phase. You can stun the first arrow as I've done, and continue to damage it, and then position yourself between an ad and the archer for the second arrow, and keep going until you kill it. Don't worry, no ad will turn on you after being damaged by the arrow, so long as it was healed before the fight. The next staircase is pretty much just covered with fell ores, and all you have to do here is just keep chain lightning and wolf form just to rush up, and once you're in the top, you can pretty much ignore the ad next to you, it will never trigger. Here you'll have to deal with 3 of the same eyes that you had in the first part of this phase, and 1 small summoner mini-boss. The damage is pretty neglectable from the mini-boss and the small rays that he summons next to him, so my advice is to just keep yourself up, kill the ads one by one, and keep going until the mini-boss is dead. After this, you can pretty much take a deserved break until Hero comes back. So here's a small trick that I found out that you can do on the last phase. While Hero triggers a cooldown on you, basically the debuff, it doesn't do it on your friendly group. So this means that you can use Hero to heal the souls and after use Trumps on the boss to give your group more damage and kill it quickly before the room actually fills up with Fel on the floor. In short, this fight is divided into 2 phases. In the first one, your party will attack each other and you'll need to heal both them and a total of 8 souls of NPCs that you killed in phase 1 that the boss will spawn. Each wave of souls will come with 3 of them, and any souls you fail to heal will have to be killed afterwards. Failing to heal a lot of souls will turn into a chaotic, near impossible scenario where you have archers, mages, warriors doing damage to your group and just won't be able to cope. However, it's absurdly easy to heal them as long as you have a good cooldown usage. As soon as the souls are targetable, use Hero and drop Healing Tide Totem. With Crashing Waves, 1 Riptide and 2 Healing Surges per soul is enough to get them to full HP, and sometimes you won't even need that much. Don't forget to heal your party with Riptides though, as they do severe damage to each other with heroism. As soon as the next wave becomes targetable, use Ascendance, and since Hero is still up, you can fly through this wave, which makes me consider if I had more gear I wouldn't even need Ascendance for this one and I would just save it for the last wave. As with both these cooldowns up, 1 healing surge is enough per soul. By the way, you can pretty much ignore mana in this phase, since there isn't much damage going on when you actually turn on the boss, plus you can take a mana pod, so it's all okay. In the last wave you only need to heal 2 souls, and the other will despawn, but if 1 reaches the boss, it's totally okay though. However, as you'll see, I actually did a mistake. I thought that the second soul was going to get healed by Riptide's HUD, and I didn't cast anything else on it, but it turns out it was probably just really close to 100%, and so both that and the third one that would have otherwise despawned went through since I didn't have time to heal the last one. So this actually forced me into a 4th wave of souls. However, I only needed to heal 1 soul to reach the 8 required, and once you reach that amount, the NPCs will basically stop fighting each other, and you'll have a quick RP, and you get to fight the souls that went in. Since I was actually low on mana, without any CDs, and stupidly used the prolonged potion by mistake, I didn't want the warrior's AoE. I'll turn the original sound up, and you'll get to hear me begging for a mage and an archer.
Will resist you!
Please be a mage, please be a mage, please a mage and an archer.
The wrath of a true commander's army!
Oh, nice, a mage and an archer. So yeah, I was pretty lucky there, but you know, souls shouldn't have happened to begin with, and if it wasn't for that stupid mistake, it would have been pretty easy to get no souls whatsoever. And archer and mage though, like 105 tries of experience with those, and it was a piece of cake. Stun the archer, interrupt the mage, get ready for the last phase, done. As soon as the boss is about to start, you should hug the wall. He only really does 2 abilities, a jump on you that will leave a fell circle on the floor, like in the Nightbane fight, except this one will kill you very quickly. 3 ticks of it and you're done. You've got 2 ways to handle this. You either run away in wall form or you Gust of Wind through it. Both are viable, except you won't have Gust of Wind all the time. The second mechanic is still the same as Nightbane. He places a debuff on you that will deal damage to your party according to your current health levels. So you have to be around like 50% health. With enough gear you can also go to like 70% health, since he does like really low damage to the NPCs. If you're too high, just step into the fire for just 1 tick and be careful that the boss doesn't jump on you at the same time or you might die, just as I almost died right there. Knowing this, that's all there is to the fight. It's actually really simple and probably one of the easiest parts of this solo scenario. You keep going in circles, you hug the wall and the outside of the previous fell in the floor until the room is complete. And it's worth noting that you don't need to do damage on the boss for it to die. The NPCs will actually take care of it, and if you hug the wall correctly, there will be enough space in the room for you to live through all of it. But, of course, if you use drums, which will affect your party but not you, like I said, he will certainly die a lot faster than that. Also, don't forget that you can Ankh if you die, and if you do that, Ankh and instantly Gust of Wind. Now that the room is full around its edges, take his last jump there and move to the center of the room. As you can see, the boss is pretty close to being dead, but my exhaustion and my retardedness came into play, and just look what happens next. No! Fuck! Kill him! Kill him! Fucking 6%! Fine! Oh, he's gonna die! 3, 2, 1! Yes! Yes! Yes!
I hope you have found peace.
Ah! So, this was the best fun I've had in WoW in a long time, and I was super determined to do it on my shaman despite being absolutely undergeared. Turns out that after 105 tries, I wouldn't wish to be geared for it. I've done it in 6 tries on my Holy Paladin without knowing anything about the dungeon, and that was no fun, honestly. I would absolutely love if this challenge was ilevel capped, like the older Proving Grounds, to about 890, the same I had, because at this ilevel it is absolutely possible to do it, as long as you perfect your class, the mechanics, and perform several roles throughout the fight while keeping your attention deficit at its best. And you wouldn't be gated by your healing, but by your actions, which is totally different. It's worth saying that I've only really played Shaman for about 4 weeks now, and I still managed to do it. And while doing it, I actually learned so much more about the class. I literally don't have to look at search cooldown to have an idea of when it's coming up again. I know a lot of you probably won't agree with me, but I do like a challenge, and this was quite likely the most challenging thing I've ever done in WoW on my own skill, without any involvement of anyone else to back me up in case I failed, and no one else to blame except myself for those failures. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck on yours. The artifact skin is truly ugly though. There goes my excuse to do it, to not do it.
Safe travels.
Alright, screenshot. No, no, no! No! Such a waste! Such a waste! Ah!